High school football, it has already reached week 3 across our local area. One game we look at is Clarke County Eagles as they return home to face Buffalo Gap in last week, defeating a tough King William opponent 28-20. As always, joining me, the head coach of the Clarke County Eagles, Casey Childs. Coach, first and foremost, really appreciate your time. And I saw in an outlet somewhere, or you posted something, this is one of the most exciting and best football games, obviously paraphrasing, that you have ever been a part of. Getting a close 28-20 victory over King William, just I would imagine it was a lot of back and forth and close gameplay for sure. Just take me through the emotions after getting such a big win like that.
Yeah, when you've been doing it as long as I have, and you've been around, pretty much all the kinds of different games and how the games play out. But Friday night was just it was a great atmosphere, and we played a really really good football team with tremendous size, tremendous athletes, and our kids just they found ways to keep making plays to stay in it, and then. Towards the end of that game, we really started making some big plays, and just overall, we had a few kids that made some just tremendous individual plays to really put us over the top. And then, of course, that game was just one of those ones where there was so much back and forth because we were up early with a 7-up lead, which then we picked them off there late in the half, and we ended up that's how the score was, and then we gambled and went forward on our own, like 38, 39-yard line on the 4th and 2, and then get it. And then they scored, and then they gambled late in the game with 5 minutes to go, maybe 6 minutes to go in the game. They gambled for it around midfield, and Brady McDonald D-tackle for us. He crashed in and made a tackle for a loss, and then Wilson hit a run. And Saya with an interception, and then they returned a kickoff back, and it was just it was a wild game. But anybody that was at that game that made that trip, or any fans from King William, they saw a great high school football game, and we were very fortunate to win, and obviously very excited about it.
So for the longest time, the low score margin, I believe the score was like 7-6 for a good portion of the game. Yeah, I would imagine, was it more defensively trying to get something going offensively and the defense doing all the work? What did you see out of that portion of the game?
Well, it's weird. I wouldn't say neither team defensively was just completely stopping the other. Both teams moved the ball and actually had pretty good drives, and then just kind of stalled out for whatever reasons. You might have been a penalty call, it might have been a negative play, or it could have been a turnover. We did turn them over a few times, which definitely helped. But towards the end of that game, it was just the last quarter and a half. That game was where the points took off, and really just explosive plays by both teams. Them returning the kickoff, us hitting a 50-yard run. We had a pick six. And then we were up 2 scores with 2 minutes to go in the game, and fortunately for us, unfortunately, our 2 safeties ran into each other, both trying to intercept the ball, and they ran into each other, and then they got it for a long touchdown run or a touchdown pass, and then we had to recover an onside kick to seal the game with 45, 50 seconds to go. So it was just it was an emotional roller coaster for any kind of fan base that was there, and both the teams and the coaches for sure.
You have an emotional roller coaster like that, and I would imagine your job as coaches is to keep the players focused. What goes into when there's an emotional roller coaster like this game you are a part of against King William to keep your players focused on staying one play in the moment, getting the job done?
Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing is try not to get too high and try not to get too low in a game like that, because there were so many momentum plays that you just really tried to ride the wave when it happened. And then if something bad were to happen, you try to get it to cut off as soon as possible. And And that was a lot of times we were talking to our kids, even at halftime. We knew we had made some mistakes on some of our schemes up front, and we were able to go in and get those things corrected. And you do so in a calm way, in a positive way, whereas you're exuding confidence. And that's what, even during that game, there was never a lack of confidence from our staff or our players. We just knew we had to clean some stuff up.
So, looking ahead after this big emotional win for the Eagles, going into a home game against Buffalo Gap, I believe it's your Hall of Fame game, just looking at the matchup ahead, how are you evaluating practice going into this week? Because a bunch of positive things, but still, I would imagine some things that you would like to correct going into week number 3 for you all.
Yeah, we had a lot of misassignments on some blocking schemes that had to be rectified and corrected, and we'll get that done this week. And but we've reached the point in the season we're not beating and banging a whole heck of a lot. We're working on timing, game plan, and making sure that we're ready to go on a Friday night. But we're playing another really tough test in Buffalo Gap. They're 2-0 as well, and they just present a different style of football. Both of our scrimmages in our first 2 games, teams wanted to spread us out and do some things, and these guys, from Buffalo Gap, that they want to pack it back in and be extremely physical. So we're going to be challenged again for sure. Because I know we beat them last year, but they were a young team and returned pretty much everybody off of that squad. So the more we watch film on them, we've definitely got our hands full on Friday for sure.
Does that make things easier in a way when it comes to game planning because most of the team is returning back? Or what do you see from that aspect when it comes to game planning on Friday night?
Well, one, we just like any other game, we've got to win the line of scrimmage or do our best to stalemate the line of scrimmage. And especially a week like coming this Friday, it's imperative. We cannot get pushed off the ball and create massive running lanes. And we've got to do a good job up front on both sides on offense and defense so that we are the ones, because are the ones that are pushing the ball. In a game like this, possessions are going to be very limited because both teams want to pound it out. So you've got to take advantage of your opportunities when you have football. And if you don't do those type of things, you could be in for a long night.
So obviously a big home matchup against Buffalo Gap and added on, I believe it's your Hall of Fame game. Just a brief comment about the Hall of Fame class going in this year. And what are your thoughts on the Clarke County having a Hall of Fame that can honor former players that walked through the halls once before?
Oh yeah, Hall of Fame night's always special. Especially, I've been, of course, been here all my life or whatever, so I know a lot of the men and women that have entered the Hall of Fame, and fortunately, I'm happy to say that I was in there. I got inducted years ago, but it's special. And then now a lot of the kids that are starting to go in, or the young men and women that are going in, have been kids that we had here since I've been here. So it's always special to see those tremendous athletes get in the Hall of Fame. And this year's class has a couple of kids that definitely played for us, and just were tremendous players. And then we have a contributor as well that has done so many great things for my entire athletic program. So we're always looking forward to it, and we're hoping just to put a really, really good product on the field for everybody to see.
Once again, Clarke County hosts Buffalo Gap this Friday night as part of Week 3 action across high school football. As always, the head coach of the Clarke County Eagles, Casey Childs. Coach, as always, really appreciate your time.
Thanks a lot, man. Take care.